Chapter 34. The Integral Individual. Fundamental education in its true sense is the profound understanding of oneself. All the laws of nature are found within each individual. Whoever wants to get to know all the marvels of nature should study them within himself. False education is only concerned with enriching the intellect, and that anyone can do. It is obvious that with money anyone can have the luxury of buying books. We do not pronounce ourselves against intellectual culture. We only pronounce ourselves against unhinged, mentally accumulative eagerness. False intellectual education only offers subtle ways out to run away from oneself. Every erudite man, every intellectual addict, always has marvelous evasions that allow him to run away from himself. Rascals result from intellectualism without spirituality, and these have led humanity to chaos and destruction. Technology can never enable us to know ourselves in an integral, unitotal way. Parents send their children to school, college, and university, or polytechnic, etc., for them to learn a skill so that they may have some profession, for them to be able to finally earn a living. It is obvious that we need to know a skill, to have a profession, but that is secondary. What is fundamental, what is primary, is to know ourselves, to know who we are, where we come from, where we are going, what the objective of our existence is. In life there is everything: happiness, sadness, love, passion, joy, pain, beauty, ugliness, etc. And when we know how to live life intensely, when we understand it on all the levels of the mind, we find our place in society. We create our own skill, our particular way of living, but the contrary is false 100%. A skill by itself can never originate an in-depth understanding, a true understanding. Today's education has been a complete failure because it gives exaggerated importance to skills, to professions, and obviously those underlying skills transform man into a mechanical robot. It destroys his best possibilities. To cultivate capacity and efficiency without the understanding of life, without knowledge of oneself, without a direct perception of the process of the ego, without a thorough study of the proper way of thinking, feeling, desiring, and acting, will only serve to increase our own cruelty and selfishness, those psychological factors that produce war, hunger, misery, and pain. The development of skills alone has produced mechanics, scientists, technologists, atomic physicists, dissectors of poor animals, inventors of destructive arms, etc. The only thing that all those professionals, all those inventors of atomic bombs and hydrogen bombs, all those dissectors that torture nature's creatures, all those rascals are really only good for is war and destruction. Those rascals do not know anything. They do not understand anything about the total process of life in all its infinite manifestations. General technological progress, transport systems, calculating machines, electric lighting, lifts inside buildings, electric brains of all types, etc., solve thousands of problems that process themselves on a superficial level of existence. But it introduces in the individual and in society multitudes of broader and more profound problems. To live exclusively on the superficial level without taking into account the different areas and more profound regions of the mind means, as a matter of fact, to attract upon ourselves and our children misery, tears, and desperation. The greatest need, the most urgent problem of each individual is to understand life in its integral, unitotal way, because it is only in this way that we are in a position of satisfactorily solving all our particular intimate problems. Technological knowledge by itself can never solve all our psychological problems, all our profound complexes. If we want to be true men and women, integral individuals, we should psychologically explore ourselves. We should profoundly know ourselves in all the areas of thought, because technology, without a doubt, becomes a destructive instrument when we do not truly understand the entire process of existence, when we do not know ourselves in an integral way. If the intellectual animal truly loved, if he understood the entire process of life, he would never have committed the crime of splitting the atom. Our technological process is fantastic, but it has only managed to increase our aggressive power to destroy one another. Terror, hunger, ignorance, and illness reign everywhere. No profession, no technology can ever give us that which is called plenitude, true happiness. Each person in life suffers intensely in his trade, in his profession, in his routine way of living, and things and occupations become instruments of envy, murmuring, hate, bitterness. The world of doctors, the world of artists, of engineers, of lawyers, etc. Each of these worlds are full of pain, murmuring, competition, envy, etc. Without the understanding of ourselves, a mere occupation, skill, or profession leads us to pain and the search for escape. Some find escape routes through alcohol, the pub, or the cabaret. Others want to escape through drugs, morphine, cocaine, marijuana, and others through lust and sexual degeneration, etc. When we want to reduce our whole life to a trade, a profession, a system of making more and more money, the result is boredom, nuisance, and the search for escape. We should become complete, integral individuals, and that is only possible by knowing ourselves and dissolving the psychological ego. Fundamental education, at the same time that it stimulates the learning of a trade to earn a living, should also carry out something of more importance. It should help man to experience, to feel in all its aspect and in all the levels of the mind, the process of existence. If someone has something to say, let him say it. And that of saying it is very interesting, because in this way, every person creates for himself his own style. But to learn other styles without having directly experienced life for oneself in an integral way only leads to superficiality.